Every illegal who is here illegally entered our country illegally. They literally committed a crime on the way in. So they are all 100% guilty. Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano, and I hope she's watching today. If she's watching, I hope you have a number 2 pencil and you take notes, because this is how I do my job. Charleston County Sheriff, the Charleston County actually in my district used to be a model for cooperation between ICE and local law enforcement. It is no more. Sheriff Graziano, on her first day in office, terminated Charleston County's 287G cooperation agreement with ICE. She announced this in front of a taco shop. Here she is with Joe Biden, who often loved to walk away from the podium and not take questions from press, just like Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano did today at her own press conference. I'm not sure who did it better, her or Joe Biden. In that same vein, I'm going to enter her own office policy that says she can and will release illegal aliens into South Carolina. This is her policy she cites as the reason she does this. Did you know she wrote and signed off on her own department policy? It doesn't get any dumber than this. Literally.
This hearing of the Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs will come to order. Welcome, everyone. Without objection, the Chair may declare a recess at any time. I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. The Biden-Harris administration's open border policies have led to the worst border crisis in American history by a mile. Millions of illegal immigrants have entered the United States under the Biden-Harris administration in a short period of time, affecting every community across the country. This was not the result of so-called root causes in Central America, as Kamala Harris has said. Individuals from all over the world have entered the U.S. Under the Biden-Harris administration. It's because they can. Obviously, we have the greatest country in the history of the world right now, I guess you could say, and it's not surprising that the whole world wouldn't try to come here. In the first 7 months of fiscal year 2024, nearly half of the inadmissible aliens encountered at the southwest border were from countries other than Mexico, the Northern Triangle countries, or were from the Northern Triangle countries and Nicaragua. I should point out that by the end of September, we already had the all-time record number of people coming across the southern border. So whatever we get across when the numbers are released in September will only add to the record. This crisis did not lack from result of authority. The Biden administration has all the tools it needs to end this crisis. For example, it can reinstate the Trump administration's policies that worked, such as remain in Mexico and the detention rather than mass release of illegal immigrants. They could continue to build the wall, which a Border Patrol agent told us is a force multiplier in the mission to secure the border. The Senate border bill that Vice President Harris vows to sign into law certainly wouldn't have helped. It would have codified the catch-and-release policies of the Biden-Harris administration that caused this crisis in the first place and allowed up to 1.8 million illegal immigrants to enter per year before temporarily closing parts of the border. The Biden-Harris administration's refusal to secure the border and instead allow millions of poorly vetted aliens from all over the world to be released is not without cost, both human and economic. Illegal immigrants released into the U.S. by the Biden-Harris administration have gone on to commit violent crimes against Americans. These murders, rapes, burglaries, and violent assaults should never have happened. Under the Biden administration, foreign gangs are running rampant in our communities. It's not just MS-13. According to DHS, a new violent gang has spread from the communist regime in Venezuela, Trey D.R. Gall, across the United States. This gang has been described as MS-13 on steroids. When a mob of illegal immigrants stormed the border in El Paso in March, over 100 were suspected members of the gang. The Biden-Harris administration has released 617,000 illegal immigrants with known criminal backgrounds. That doesn't even include the almost 2 million illegal aliens who evaded apprehension entirely. We don't know where these gotaways are, what their criminal histories are, or what their intentions are. In addition to the real tragic costs of the border crisis, there have been significant fiscal costs. Estimates show that despite paying some taxes, illegal aliens are a net drain on America. Experts estimate each illegal immigrant costs the taxpayer roughly $68,000. They use more public services than they contribute in taxes. The Biden-Harris administration's weak job growth numbers are further diluted by the fact that the majority of those jobs have gone to foreign-born workers. In the past 12 months, U.S.-born workers lost more than 1.3 million jobs, where foreign-born workers gained over 1.2 million. I'll tell you, during the first 20 years of my political career in Wisconsin, I would again and again have the lobbyist for the Carpenters Union in my office begging us to do something about all the illegal immigrants here using Social Security cards, stealing the jobs, the good union jobs, my friend would say, stealing the good union jobs from carpenters. There's already a housing crisis in this country. Estimates that state that the U.S. is 4 to 7 million housing units short of where they should be. So not only do illegal immigrants compete for Americans for jobs, but also compete with Americans for housing. The Biden-Harris administration mass release of illegal immigrants in our country is not in the interest of the American people. We cannot afford 4 more years of a chaotic border. I should point out that in America, we are not anti-immigrant. Every year, about 850,000 new citizens are sworn into our country. If you look at it, sometimes there's a spike, but if you look at it in 3-year increments, there has never been a time in our history in which we have had more people sworn in as new immigrants. And what do we get for being so gracious and allowing so many people in this country? We get kicked in the face by having all other people come here anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And talking about extraordinary foolish, I know that was said earlier by one of our witnesses. It's not just cities, it's counties too. I've been nuking Charleston County Sheriff over the last 24 hours over her lies about the illegals that are in South Carolina, her lies about releasing them into our state, and that sort of thing. And when you're talking about New York, Mr. Biggs, if you talk to an NYPD officer, they'll tell you they're not charging these illegals with crimes. And then when they do, they're released and they're not given a bail or bond when they go out. And so the left, it's just all one big lie, and it's not right to the American people. And the statistic that crime is down for migrants, every illegal who is here illegally entered our country illegally. They literally committed a crime on the way in. So they are all 100% guilty of committing a crime. Mr. Chairman, I brought a folder today because I'm going to enter in some documents into the congressional record this afternoon. So I want to thank our witnesses for being here today. I'm going to focus my time on the human costs of sanctuary policies from local officials, including Charleston County Sheriff, Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano, and I hope she's watching today. If she's watching, I hope you have a number 2 pencil and you take notes, because this is how I do my job. Charleston County Sheriff, the Charleston County actually in my district used to be a model for cooperation between ICE and local law enforcement. It is no more. Charleston County had a 287G cooperation agreement in place with ICE, acted as an over 72-hour detention facility for aliens apprehended by ICE, and worked together to enforce our nation's laws and keep our community safe. No more because of Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano. Unfortunately, in early 2021, the new sheriff of Charleston County, Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano, began a systematic effort to dismantle immigration enforcement in Charleston County. Sheriff Graziano, on her first day in office, terminated Charleston County's 287G cooperation agreement with ICE. She announced this in front of a taco shop. I don't know why. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter this picture of Sheriff Graziano terminating her 287G agreement in front of El Pencho Taco into the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. I also would like to request unanimous consent to enter this photo. It's Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano's Twitter header. Here she is with wide open borders are Kamala Harris. Here she is with Joe Biden, who often loved to walk away from the podium and not take questions from press, just like Sanctuary Sheriff Kristen Graziano did today at her own press conference. I'm not sure who did it better, her or Joe Biden. Mr. Chairman, I would like to enter this.
Without objection.
Thank you. I would like to she refuses to notify, Sheriff Graziano refuses to notify ICE when a criminal illegal alien is in custody and refuses to provide adequate hold time for ICE to assume custody. I'm going to request unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman, to enter her statement yesterday where she says, our policy clearly states on our public website we only hold residents for ICE if they have a I-247, a detainer immigration center signed by an immigration judge. That's per her office policy. I would like to enter her statement into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
In that same vein, I'm going to enter her own office policy that says she can and will release criminal illegal aliens into South Carolina. This is her policy she cites as the reason she does this. Did you know she wrote and signed off on her own department policy? It doesn't get any dumber than this. Literally is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in South Carolina history. Her department has been designated as a non-cooperative by ICE. Mr. Chairman, I would like to enter this list of non-cooperative institutions into the congressional record, sir.
Without objection.
All right, I'm running out of time. I'm going to enter in request unanimous consent to enter this document from ICE. She called me a liar today, where she has released over 50 illegal immigrants into South Carolina, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
I would like to request unanimous consent to enter all my letters to Sheriff Graziano and ICE into the congressional record over her behavior.
Without objection.
And lastly, she called me a liar today, and she also said that crime has gone down, violent crime has gone down in Charleston County. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask for unanimous consent to enter the SLED, State Law Enforcement Division's Crime in South Carolina annual report, where it shows violent crime is up. Murders, aggravated assaults, stolen vehicles, etc. It's up, it's not down, it's a lie. Mr. Chairman?
Without objection.
Thank you, and I yield back.